Welcome to Emergency Management Associates with Ron Tyler. Ron has been a first responder and in the preparedness arena for years. Since the early 1980s, Ron Tyler has been working to make sure people are prepared for whatever comes their way. He assisted his parents doing survival dinners where they went to church. He has lived in earthquake country, where quite a few large earthquakes hit San Diego and the state of California. Ron Tyler started Emergency Management Associates as a way to prepare people for coming emergencies and disasters. He was a first responder and responded to areas to help serve, rescue, and train people. Ron has set up emergency command posts during fire seasons in the mountains of Southern California and in Colorado. Having been a volunteer fireman and then a police officer, Ron knows what needs to be done and has done it. Ron and his crews have saved many people's lives. Ron has spoken to hundreds of community groups, helped organize preparedness fairs where he has lived. Through his travels, Ron has met hundreds of people and is valued in those communities and continues to work and lecture people on the complex work of emergency/disaster preparedness and emergency management. Ron has spent 24 years in law enforcement and has an extensive background in law enforcement and tactics. Ron's career was spent in homicide, traffic accident investigation, weapons and tactics, and personal/executive protection and emergency management. Ron Tyler has been a missionary for his church and is now a gospel doctrine instructor. With these items safely tucked away, you and your family will have an advantage should an emergency or disaster strike. Water, enough for at least 3 days. Food, ready-to-eat canned food, granola bars, dried fruit, peanut butter. Flashlight, with extra batteries. All essential medications and prescriptions. Medical equipment for conditions, extra pair of eyeglasses, extra batteries for hearing aid, etc. First aid kit. Personal care supplies. Emergency contact information. Copies of important documents, photo ID, medical insurance cards, medication lists, insurance policies. Records of personal property and insurance policies. Masks. Change of clothing, jacket, gloves, hat. Blankets. Remember to subscribe, like, share with your family and friends, and thank you for watching. Mail, rltnspdema@gmail.com, and our address is 104 North Green Street, Box 105, Morganton, North Carolina 28655.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. As we've been doing for quite some time, we're going to start off this program with a salute to the United States of America by the singing of the United States National Anthem. At this time, I would ask everyone to please rise. Thank you.
Stars through the perilous Yes, it is. And still we can see as the years have gone by. There's a dream in our land, like a flame that keeps burning. From the heart that still shines, those who seek freedom's dream to its light are still turning. Now we look to the sky and we lift up our arms. We shall see our It's our
God bless America. Today is a day that will live forever. Today we embarked on a new day in our nation's history and in the history of the world. Let's take a look at where we've come from in the last 16 hours. At 3 o'clock this morning, we found out that President Trump, former President Trump, has won the election. Let me show you what has happened. Here's the electoral map. Kamala Harris has won Washington, Oregon, California, and Nevada. New Mexico, Oregon, Minnesota, Illinois, and the states to the northeast, including Virginia. Virginia was rocking back and forth for President Trump all night long. What has happened? Harris got 232 electoral votes. President Trump has gotten 306. Excuse me. All President Trump needed was 270. President Trump is the first president in over 100 years to be elected for the second time over the space of exactly 8 years. The first president to be elected twice after someone else took his place the second time. President Trump won the 2020 election. And I don't care what the Democrats have to say. I don't care what the history books have to say, because the history books have been altered. We all know that President Trump won the 2020 election, and the Democrats falsified documents, got rid of documents, and it came out that they temporarily won the election. But over the last 4 years, it's been found out that the Democrats cheated. The Democrats cheated. Last night, after much back and forth, Over 1 million ballots have gone around the country that have been taken down as a result of being fraudulent. Last night, over 1 million ballots were taken down after having been found fraudulent. Some people with their names recorded 5 or 6 times on different ballots with slightly different addresses. Other times, it was completely falsified documents. The other issue was people had gone to graveyards and falsified ballots that way, putting people's information from headstones on documents. And some states went through their voter records and found something else happened. They went and found people that were deceased, people that did not belong in the voting records, illegal aliens that had registered to vote. Now, while Biden and the Democrat Party wanted that to happen, bringing in over 25 million illegal aliens across the southern border during the last 4 years, completely wiping out what President Trump had done the previous 4 years, putting up a wall, putting up over 500 miles of wall. President Trump tried to seal the border. In some cases, Biden, as soon as he was put into office, as soon as he raised his right hand, he immediately put up presidential edicts opening up the border. He sent welders to the border, cutting holes in the border fence that President Trump had erected, putting holes in the border fence and welding the fence open, welding a gate open so illegal aliens could come through unabated. Other places, the border was already open. Biden let them come in, telling the Border Patrol not to stop them. In areas where the Border Patrol and Customs Border Enforcement at the ports of entry were able to record people coming in through the border, they recorded the people and let them go, with hopes within 4 to 6 years that those people would come back for asylum hearings to see if they would be allowed to stay in the country. We all know what happens then. They never show up. I personally was a federal police officer in San Diego. I saw it happen. I saw people who escaped through the border, and nothing was done. In some cases, they got a slap on the hand, returned to the border, and then came back again, and again, and again. I saw it happen. One time, I stopped a van load of people. They were speeding. So I stopped a van load of people. As it turns out, everyone on board in that van, it was a long Chevy van, white in color. I stopped them. As it turns out, every one of them was drunk and illegal, coming from Mexico. They came into Naval Station San Diego, 32nd Street, Naval Station San Diego, thinking that all the lights around the gates were because it was the Mexican border. They thought they were returning to Mexico. They illegally came on board Naval Station San Diego. The reason I said it was illegally, they had no ID. They had no ID. The driver didn't even have a driver's license. The driver was a coyote. I arrested them. I had them sitting on the curb beside the van. I called Customs Border Protection to come pick him up. Customs Border Protection said they could not send anyone up to take those individuals into custody for another 2 hours. So I was advised to either let them go or leave them there on the curb in custody and allow the Customs Border Protection to eventually show up, and that's what I did. I refused to let those people go. This has been happening around this country, all along the southern border. When Biden took over, it became even weirder and even more deadly. Biden has allowed over 30,000 terrorists on board the United States. He's allowed another 60,000 escaped prisoners from jails across South and Central America and around this world. He has allowed many people from all over the world, 140 countries around the world, to come into the United States of America. They believe he has allowed 25 million people into this country during the past 4 years. That is going to change tomorrow, going forward. Starting in January 20th, when Trump takes office, things will change. Now, we're already seeing some people return to the border and go back south because they have heard that President Trump will send them back. Others are heading to Canada, thinking that they can escape into Canada. Hopefully that won't happen. But those people are going to go back across the border. Now, I want to play a recording that I made last night on our program from President Trump's speech. And be advised, I will talk about some earthquakes, and I'm also going to talk about Hurricane Rafael that will be hitting either the United States or out into the Gulf of Mexico this week. But I wanted to play Trump's speech, and now I want to play Kamala's concession speech. Let's hear from President Trump.
Thank you very much. Wow. Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And Frank?
Are you on Medicare? If so, you'll want to hear this.
Sorry, I can't play those commercials.
This was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. Oh, And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes, but it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great. Very proud of that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Winning the popular vote was very nice, I will tell you. It's a great feeling of love. We have a great feeling of love in this very large room with unbelievable people standing by my side. These people have been incredible. They've made the journey with me, and we're going to make you very happy. We're going to make you very proud of your vote. I hope that you're going to be looking back someday and say that was one of the truly important moments of my life when I voted for this group of people beyond the president, this group of great people. America has given us an unprecedented and powerful mandate. We have taken back control of the Senate. Wow, that's good. And the Senate races in Montana, Nevada, Texas, Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, were all won by the MAGA movement. They helped so much. And in those cases, every one of them, we worked with the senators. They were tough races, and I mean, the number of victories in the Senate was absolutely incredible. And we did tele-rallies. We did tele-rallies with each one of them, and sometimes we did 2 or 3 and it was amazing to look at all of those victories. Nobody expected that, nobody. So I just wanted to thank you very much for that. And you have some great senators and some great new senators. And it also looks like we'll be keeping control of the House of Representatives.
Everyone who hates ads will be using this Chrome extension by 2020.
And I want to thank Mike Johnson. I think he's doing a terrific job. Terrific job. I want to also thank my beautiful wife, Melania, First Lady. Who has the #1 best-selling book in the country. Can you believe it? Oh, no, she's done a great job, works very hard to help people. So I just want to thank her, but I want to thank my whole family, my amazing children, and they are amazing children. And we all think our children are amazing. Everybody here thinks their children are amazing, but that's a good thing when you think they are. But Don, Eric, Ivanka, Tiffany, Barron, Laura, Jared, Kimberly, Michael, thank you all. What a help. What a help. My father-in-law, Victor, is tremendous, and we miss very much Melania's mother, Amalia. We miss Amalia, don't we, huh? She would be very happy right now, standing on this stage. She'd be so proud. She was a great woman, that one. Beautiful inside and out. She was a great woman. I want to be the first to congratulate our great, now I can say, Vice President-elect of the United States, J.D. And his absolutely remarkable and beautiful wife, Ushabez. And he's a feisty guy, isn't he? You know, I've said, go into the enemy camp, and you know the enemy camp is certain networks, and a lot of people don't like to, sir, do I have to do that? He just goes, okay, which one, CNN, MSDNC? He'll say, all right, thank you very much. He actually looks like, he's still like the only guy I've ever seen, he really looks forward to it, and then he just goes in and absolutely obliterates them. Say a couple of words here.
Wild. Well, Mr. President, I appreciate you allowing me to join you on this incredible journey. I thank you for the trust that you placed in me. And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America. And under President Trump's leadership, we're never going to stop fighting for you, for your dreams, for the future of your children. And after the greatest political comeback in American history, we're going to lead the greatest economic comeback in American history under Donald Trump's leadership.
Thank you very much. He's turned out to be a good choice. I took a little heat at the beginning, but he was, I knew the brain was a good one, about as good as it gets. And we love the family, and we're going to have a great 4 years, and we're going to turn our country around, make it something very special. Lost that little thing called special. We have to make it so. We're going to make this so great. It's the greatest country and potentially the greatest country in the world by far. And right now we're going to just work very hard to get all of that back. We're going to make it the best it's ever been. We can do that. If we had to wait longer, I don't know. It was going bad, and it was going bad fast. We're going to have to seal up those borders, and we're going to have to let people come into our country. We want people to come back in, but we have to let them come back in, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. Let me also express my tremendous appreciation for Susie and Chris, the job you did. Susie, come here, Susie. Chris, come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay sort of in the back, let me tell you. The Ice Maiden, we call her the Ice Maiden. Come here, Chris. Susie likes to stay in the background. She's not in the background. Come here, Susie.
I want to say something. This wasn't expected, but I just want to thank, obviously, President Trump for this journey. It was a great one, and he's a hell of a candidate, and he's going to be a hell of a great 47th president. And this team that we had, the best team, and of course, even my boss, Susie Wiles, the best. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, Susie. Look at this, she's shot. I've never seen her be shot before. Susie. They're great. Everybody up here is great. Everybody up here is very special. But the Trump, who did you say? Oh, let me tell you, we have a new star. A star is born, Elon. Now he is. No, he's an amazing guy. We were sitting together tonight. You know, he spent 2 weeks in Philadelphia and different parts of Pennsylvania campaigning. You know, he sent the rocket up 2 weeks ago, and I saw that rocket, and I saw it coming down. I saw it. It was, when it left, it was beautiful, shiny white. When it came down, it didn't look so pretty. It was going 10,000 miles an hour, and it was burning like hell. I said, what happened to your paint job? He said, we've never made a paint that could withstand that kind of heat. And but I saw it come down and turn around. And it was, you know, it's like 22 stories tall, by the way. It looks a little smaller than that, but it's big. And it came down, and you saw that fire burning. And I'm saying, only Elon could do this. It must be an Elon. And I tell the story. I told it last night. I had a man on the phone. I had the screen muted, no sound. I was talking to a very important man, happens to be here. And that very important guy, one of the most important people in, I would say, the country, actually. But, you know, I was president, and now it looks like I was going to be maybe president again, so I figured I could ask him to hold. So I asked him to hold. And because, especially because you're going to be president again, they hold. So I took the phone down, and I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this crazy thing that's going around and coming down. It looks like it's going to crash into the gantry. And I said, oh, no. And I said, do me a favor, do you mind holding for a couple of minutes? I want to see this. I thought it was a space-age movie or something. I put the phone down. Bad part, I didn't pick it up for 45 minutes, and he was holding. But the spaceship came down, and I saw those engines firing, and it looked like it was over. It was going to smash, and then I saw the fire pour out from the left side, and it put it straight, and it came down so gently, and then it wrapped those arms around it, and it held it, and just like you hold your baby at night, your little baby. And it was a beautiful thing to see, and I called Elon. I said, Elon, was that you? He said, yes, it was. I said, who else can do that? Can Russia do it? No. Can China do it? No. Can the United States do it other than you? No, nobody can do that. I said, that's why I love you, Elon, that's great. And you know, when we had the tragic Hurricane Helene, and it hit, in particular, hit North Carolina, they were really devastated, the water. This was a big water, as big as we've ever seen, water hurricane. It built lakes out of nothing. Fields became lakes, and the danger was unbelievable. And the people from North Carolina came to me and they said, would it be possible, at all possible, for you to speak to Elon Musk? We need Starlink. I said, what's Starlink? It's a form of communication. So I called Elon, and I'll tell you what, he had, and it was very dangerous. People would die. They had no communication. All the wires were down. I called Elon Musk. I said, Elon, you have something called Starlink. Is that right? Yes, I do. What the hell is it? He said, it's a communication system that's very good. I said, Elon, they need it really, really badly in North Carolina. Can you get it? He had that there so fast. It was incredible. So, and it was great. It saved a lot of lives. He saved a lot of lives. But he's a character. He's a special guy. He's a super genius. We have to protect our geniuses. We don't have that many of them. We have to protect our super geniuses. I want to thank some of the guys. You know, we have up here today, the U.S. Open champion. He's fantastic golfer, slightly longer than me. It's a ball a little bit longer than me, just a little bit. Bryson DeChambeau is up here someplace. What happened to Bryson? Where is he? Bryson. Oh, he was shot. He's hitting balls. Oh, he's on the way. He's hitting balls. Bryson. Oh, look at him. He's got a great career going. Great U.S. Open, Bryson. That's a fantastic job. And we also have a man, Dana White, who has done some job. He's that tough guy. So Dana started UFC.
I'm going to fast forward this towards the end of his speech. I want you to hear this. This is very good. It's almost done. This is going to put it down to 7 more minutes.
Uniting citizens of all backgrounds around a common core of common sense. You know, we're the party of common sense. We want to have borders. We want to have security. We want to have things be good, safe. We want great education. We want a strong and powerful military, and ideally we don't have to use it. You know, we had no wars. 4 years we had no wars, except we defeated ISIS. We defeated ISIS in record time, but we had no wars. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. But this is also a massive victory for democracy and for freedom. Together we're going to unlock America's glorious destiny. We're going to achieve the most incredible future for our people. Yesterday, as I stood at my last stop on the campaign trail, I'll never be doing a rally again. Can you believe it? I think we've done 900 rallies approximately from them. Can you imagine? 901 something, a lot of rallies. And it was sad. Everybody was sad. Many people, I said, this is our last rally. But now we're going on to something that's far more important, because the rallies were used for us to be put in this position where we can really help our country. That's what we're going to do. We're going to make our country better than it ever has been. And I said that many people have told me that God spared my life for a reason. And that reason was to save our country and to restore America to greatness. And now we are going to fulfill that mission together. We're going to fulfill that mission. The task before us will not be easy, but I will bring every ounce of energy, spirit, and fight that I have in my soul to the job that you've entrusted to me. This is a great job. There's no job like this. This is the most important job in the world. Just as I did in my first term, we had a great first term, a great, great first term. I will govern by a simple motto: promises made, promises kept. We're going to keep our promises. Nothing will stop me from keeping my word to you, the people. We will make America safe, strong, prosperous, powerful, and free again. And I'm asking every citizen all across our land to join me in this noble and righteous endeavor. That's what it is. It's time to put the divisions of the past 4 years behind us. It's time to unite. And we're going to try. We're going to try. We have to try. And it's going to happen. Success will bring us together. I've seen that. I've seen that. I saw that in the first term when we became more and more successful. People started coming together. Success is going to bring us together, and we are going to start by all putting America first. We have to put our country first for at least a period of time. We have to fix it, because together we can truly make America great again for all Americans. So I want to just tell you what a great honor this is. I want to thank you. I will not let you down. America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, richer, safer, and stronger than it has ever been before. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
That was President Trump's speech. He entered it at 3:30 this morning, live on our air. Now, YouTube knocked us off the air right before his speech. I brought us back on the air right before he started, and you saw his speech now. This was a speech of unification and love for the country. Now, President Trump won the election fair and square. He kept it open. He kept it open. This election took a lot of time. We came on the air last night knowing full well we'd be on the air most of the night, possibly a good share of the morning as well. We were on the air watching the votes come in. We made sure we wanted to be on the air to make sure that the Democrat Party didn't cheat again. We know in 2020 that they snuck votes in the back doors of the Registrar of Voters offices around this country. Midnight to 3 o'clock in the morning. They closed the offices at 9 o'clock. Why? Why would you close the office at 9 o'clock when you know that we need the votes counted? But they closed the offices at 9, 10 o'clock at night. Then after that, after everybody was gone, they snuck cases upon cases of ballots into the back doors of the Registrar of Voters offices. President Trump was ahead at the time. At 7 a.m. in the morning, Biden was ahead by millions of votes. It's incredible what the Democrat Party did, lying to the public. And now we know exactly what happened. We know exactly what happened. They lied to the public completely. We found many ballots in the Registrar of Voters offices that had been hidden, so nobody would even know they were there. They found ballots literally all across this country. We found evidence of ballots mismarked, purposely. We found evidence of it. Ballots mismanaged in Georgia. And then Fani Willis and Mr. Wade, one of her assistants, who ended up being one of her lovers, tried to go after Trump. They brought him in under trial, arrested him. His arrest photo is one of the greatest photos that President Trump has been using against the Democrat Party. President Trump was arrested, fingerprinted, and allowed to return to the campaign trail as long as he promised to come back for trial, which he did. President Trump was under condemnation, but he survived it. He survived it because he had great attorneys that proved that Fani Willis, Mr. Wade, and all their evidence was BS. Now, with that known, we just found out today that wonderful man, Jack Smith in New York City, who allegedly was a special prosecutor, we found out this year that Mr. Jack Smith was not a special prosecutor at all. He gave himself that name. Special prosecutors have to be nominated by the President of the United States and then put before Congress for interviews to see if they are worthy to be a special prosecutor. That didn't happen with Jack Smith. Jack Smith appointed himself to be special counsel and immediately began filing charges against President Trump. Guess what happened to Jack Smith today? Jack Smith has been fired by the Justice Department. He's been fired by the Justice Department. Jack Smith was hoping that he would have a job until January 20th when President Trump took office, at which time President Trump was going to fire him, give him his walking papers. To get out, he was fired. But the Justice Department, knowing that Jack Smith's days were numbered, got rid of him. The cases against President Trump in New York have been dropped. The case against President Trump in Georgia is up in arms right now because of mismanagement by Fani Willis, the state attorney general. Well, guess what? There's a problem with that. Fani Willis was reelected yesterday. Fani Willis was reelected, even though she's under indictment and herself may be arrested and put in prison. How do you get a state prosecutor who's under indictment herself and get reelected? That remains to be seen. But the cases against President Trump have been dropped in Florida, have been dropped in New York and will soon be dropped in Georgia. Because there is a law in the books that does not allow a sitting president to be tried for any crimes. Can't be done. President Trump won the election late last night, with almost all states reporting every ballot counted. Arizona was deemed counted early this morning and turned red this morning. The only one that didn't turn red was Nevada, and we knew that was up in the air, but we thought Nevada might turn red. President Trump was elected fairly and equitably, but there's another problem. Kamala Harris did not concede the election last night, or even before President Trump gave his acceptance speech. Kamala Harris this morning finally called President Trump to concede. Kamala Harris came before the cameras late this afternoon, and here's what she said.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you all. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. So let me say, and I love you back. And I love you back. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright. As long as we never give up, and as long as we keep fighting. To my beloved Doug and our family, I love you so very much. To President Biden and Dr. Biden, thank you for your faith and support. To Governor Walz and the Walz family, I know your service to our nation will continue. And to my extraordinary team, to the volunteers who gave so much of themselves, to the poll workers and the local election officials, I thank you all. Look, I am so proud of the race we ran, and the way we ran it, over the 107 days of this campaign. We have been intentional about building community and building coalitions, bringing people together from every walk of life and background, united by love of country with enthusiasm and joy in our fight for America's future. And we did it with the knowledge that we all have so much more in common than what separates us. Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power. A fundamental principle of American democracy is that when we lose an election, we accept the results. That principle, as much as any other, distinguishes democracy from monarchy or tyranny. And anyone who seeks the public trust must honor it. At the same time, in our nation, we owe loyalty not to a president or a party, but to the Constitution of the United States. And loyalty to our conscience and to our God. My allegiance to all three is why I am here to say, while I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign. The fight for freedom, for opportunity, for fairness, and the dignity of all people. A fight for the ideals at the heart of our nation, the ideals that reflect America at our best. That is a fight I will never give up. I will never give up the fight for a future where Americans can pursue their dreams, ambitions, and aspirations, where the women of America have the freedom to make decisions about their own body and not have their government telling them what to do. We will never give up the fight to protect our schools and our streets from gun violence. And America, we will never give up the fight for our democracy, for the rule of law, for equal justice, and for the sacred idea that every one of us, no matter who we are or where we start out, has certain fundamental rights and freedoms that must be respected and upheld. And we will continue to wage this fight in the voting booth, in the courts, and in the public square. And we will also wage it in quieter ways, in how we live our lives, by treating one another with kindness and respect, by looking in the face of a stranger and seeing a neighbor, by always using our strength to lift people up, to fight for the dignity that all people deserve. The fight for our freedom will take hard work, but like I always say, we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work can be joyful work. And the fight for our country is always worth it. It is always worth it. To the young people who are watching, it is... I love you. To the young people who are watching, it is okay to feel sad and disappointed. But please know it's going to be okay. On the campaign, I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before. You have the capacity to do extraordinary good in the world. And so to everyone who is watching, do not despair. This is not a time to throw up our hands. This is a time to roll up our sleeves. This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future that we all know we can build together. Look, many of you know I started out as a prosecutor, and throughout my career I saw people at some of the worst times in their lives. People who had suffered great harm and great pain, and yet found within themselves the strength and the courage and the resolve to take the stand, to take a stand, to fight for justice, to fight for themselves, to fight for others. So let their courage be our inspiration. Let their determination be our charge. And I'll close with this. There's an adage an historian once called a law of history, true of every society across the ages. The adage is, only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of us all, I hope that is not the case. But here's the thing, America, if it is, let us fill the sky with the light of a brilliant, brilliant billion of stars. The light of optimism, of faith, of truth, and service. H.U. And may that work guide us, even in the face of setbacks, toward the extraordinary promise of the United States of America. I thank you all. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America. I thank you all.
That was Kamala Harris late this afternoon. She finally conceded. It's very interesting how this happened. The election had been won by Donald Trump. Without a doubt, it had been won by Donald Trump. Kamala Harris sent one of her underlings up to the podium there at the college in Washington, the University in Washington, sent him up there to say Kamala Harris would not be up there to concede or anything else, and we would hear from her later today. And that's exactly what happened. Again, I'll remind you, she called President Trump late this morning and finally conceded. And then she appeared before the American public late this afternoon, after conceding finally. But she went all night going to bed, letting the nation stew, wondering where Kamala was, and yet she couldn't face the music until late this morning. She finally did. Anyway, there's a lot going on. I asked Sage Pup to call me after Kamala's speech was over. I would like Sage Pup to call, and I'll put him on the air to tell us what's going on with the fire in Ventura County, California, and other fires that are going on. Because there are other fires going on. I promise you there are other fires. The whole place is on fire. Literally, the whole place is on fire. Here's Sage Pup. Sage Pup, how are you, brother? Sage Pup called me, and all of a sudden Sage Pup went away. Sage Pup, I'm calling you right back.
This is Robert Tony Harford with Third World Jacks. Is he safe on the planet right now?
Hey, Tony, call me right back. There you are. Hey, Tony, how are you?
Hey, Brother Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Boy, it's good to hear your voice.
I went to turn off the channel because I didn't know if it would feedback or not.
It might.
Yeah, so you're still online? Everybody in there?
Yeah, everybody's here. How about that?
Hey, gang, how y'all doing? So this is what's happening. It's kind of a rehash of what happened several years ago with the winds and everything that's happening. Central Ventura caught fire, and all of a sudden the winds went crazy and started spot firing everywhere. And that's what's happening right now. And we got the Santa Ana winds about to kick in. And they're going to, everything between the beach and the mountains, just like it did several years ago, it's just kind of popping and blowing and popping and blowing, and it's creating other fires. I'm under the impression that they've gotten so much better, the fire department and all, since then, that maybe they can get a handle on this. But right now, as it stands, with they only got a small portion, if that, actually under control. So we're sitting here watching, and you can see that there's a little bit of orange in the sky, but it's not so bad exactly where I'm at, but it's definitely traveling this direction. And you can get whiffs of it here and there. All of a sudden it'll be heavy. It was heavy this morning, but then it kind of thinned out. And then you get whiffs of it here and there. You can kind of smell the smoke here and there, but it's definitely in motion. And so you got any questions?
Yeah, I got a question. I called my friends at KFMB radio and television earlier this morning, and they told me the Santa Ana winds would be kicking up around noontime, and that there was a weather advisory for high winds upwards of 30, 35 mile per hour with gusts up to 55. What are you seeing?
Oh, I think, no, in Ventura, it's way higher than that. The gusts that they're getting down there is much more intense than 35, 40 miles.
Maria, thanks so much. We are up in Skyfox right now. We are
45, 50 mile an hour gusts, if not more. Here in Santa Barbara, and we're just like 30 miles north of this, 30 to 45 miles north of what's going on. We was getting gusts higher than that earlier today. And so now it's getting sunset. The sky's got bits of orange, but the wind has calmed down where we're at. So other than that, all I can tell you is what I'm watching live streaming of what the coverage is right now as well. So
Yeah, I'm showing the fire right now coming from Los Angeles. This is oh gosh, what? I think this is Fox LA covering the brush fire.
they're covering the one down there, and that's a different fire. I'm talking about the Ventura fire.
Yeah, they're showing here. It says a Ventura brush fire in Ventura County here.
Okay, yeah, but there's also another one in Malibu, I believe.
Wow, didn't know that.
Yeah, that was reported just a couple hours ago, but I know that there's a multitude of homes and structures that just burnt up. There was a little neighborhood that just burnt up just over the past 30, 45 minutes in Ventura. They were just showing and the trees are fine because the trees are all waterlogged or whatnot, but the houses are just kind of going up in flames.
Wow.
Yeah, and so far, that's everything I can report is just what I've seen on live stream over the past. Actually, I've been following it since I first found out about it several hours ago. So,
That's unreal.
yeah, but you remember the mudslide that happened here, the Montecito mudslide?
Right.
And the big fire that happened in Ventura that spread. They evacuated all of Ventura, most of the county, and where did they come to? Was Santa Barbara here. And the fire actually came to Santa Barbara and burned up Montecito. And then we got these massive downpour rains, which caused the Montecito mudslide because everything was burned out. And that's what wiped out Montecito a few years back. And we actually watched it from my shop back when I had my shop. We could see the actual mudslide happen, and we were like 5 miles away. But it's a small town. You can actually see across town, And that was some crazy times. And this fire has all the hallmarks of that exact kind of fire that happened back in that day.
Wow.
So I do believe all the fire department and everything has gotten way better, much more talented at figuring this stuff out. So I think it's going to be somewhat under control on a better level, but all I can do is say fire is unpredictable, and all we can do is wait and see what happens. So everything is just live stream, trying to figure it out as it happens. But right now, I know the spot firing is out of control, and neighborhoods have burned, and structures are gone. So,
Wow.
yeah.
How many homes or structures do you think have already burned down?
Well, they were, from when I was watching on my live stream and everything, they were showing a neighborhood where a multitude of houses were burning if they weren't already burned. And they didn't give a specific number. So I don't want to quote a number and not be like, I want to kind of keep it as accurate as possible. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I remember a few years ago talking to you. You were calling me from your shop and say, Ron, you won't believe this. And you were describing to me a whole horrible scene. And now it's happening again.
That was exactly, but that was once it reached Montecito and was come rolling over the mountains here. And I was in my shop, and they were already starting to try to evacuate Santa Barbara, but you couldn't go 101 south because of the fires. You couldn't go 154 because of the fires. So they started trying to evacuate everybody northbound, and a gas truck, a big gas tanker, flipped over in the highway and shut down the whole 101 northbound. I did go back to my shop, right? I'm like, what am I going to do? So I'm a self-serve dog wash. I was the busiest business in all Santa Barbara for like 4 days. Everybody's like, I just want to wash the ass off my dog, please. And I couldn't say no to these people, and then I looked up, and there was fire coming around because there was so much smoke coming off part of the mountain. And it looked like lava. It didn't even look like fire. It looked like lava moving along the mountainside.
Wow.
And I called in. I was like, hey, there's fire over here, and everything. They're like, oh, where are you at? I'm like, I'm on the corner of such and such, such and such. And they're like, there's no fire over there. I'm like, no, I'm looking at the mountain. There's fire running alongside. And within 15, 20 minutes, all of a sudden, fire trucks and cops and everything, and they all went up, and it was right there where the mission is here in San. Ron, you've been here to Santa Barbara, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Many times.
So you
Yeah.
know where the botanical gardens and all that is.
Uh-huh.
All that stuff was getting all the red hots blowing in, and they got in there. They managed to save it and everything. That was cool. And that's the night that I was calling you, going, Ron. So, yeah, that was an intense time. And I just hope these fires don't do that, what it did then. So,
I hope not. I hope not. My friends at KFMB Radio and TV in San Diego were not very hopeful, and they were fearing that fire would come into San Diego County as well. Not fire from Ventura County, because that's way, way north, but fire nonetheless, because it doesn't take much to start a brush fire, and then all of a sudden it just happens, and we have fire in places no one ever even thought of it being.
right, yeah, everything like Malibu and South, Santa Monica area and South, LA, San Diego and everything, because of the wind currents and everything, it carries things differently.
Correct, yeah.
Reach Ventura, and the mountain range here is all east to west, not north to south like all the rest of the mountain.
Yeah,
And it carries this one, and it's a really thin slice of beach to mountain kind of living along here. And so it travels differently. The wind, the way the fog catches, and everything, and the way the fires move. So anything Malibu, Santa Monica, and south, San Diego, LA, whatnot, depending on how strong the winds are, they can carry embers for 4 or 5 miles.
yeah.
And things. So like that whole area needs to just be somewhat prepared and ready and aware of what's going on in their surroundings. Here in Santa Barbara, we're watching the Ventura fire. We're not worried about the Malibu thing, but this is kind of a rehash of what happened back in that day that I called you many years ago.
Yeah.
And I know I got a quirky sense of humor, everybody, but I love y'all. Okay, EMA family's the best, and mods, the mod squad is the best. So just a shout out to everybody. Yay. Can't help it, so I'm keeping an eye on this. I'm also keeping an eye. We got that X-class solar flare that's hitting the planet, and
Yeah.
of all places in Southern California is kind of a hot spot for that. And I've really been watching this area between like Bakersfield, San Luis Obispo, and Ojai, Santa Barbara area. It hasn't had a significant quake. It's so long overdue. I don't know, but who knows? I think with the X-class fair, probably San Diego, maybe Baja California kind of area. So, but I don't know. Nobody can predict this. I broke my crystal ball. So,
You're so funny. I don't. My crystal ball broke a lot of years ago.
yeah, I was just trying to clean it. It didn't have to.
Hey, I don't know how many people here on the air or here on our channel that know that your health situation, but do you mind talking about that?
No, I don't mind. It's hard to find out what. I'm not a doctor, so I keep relying on doctors. And first off, they say one thing, then they're saying they don't know, and then they bounce you back and forth, and then they spend more time wanting to give you more drugs than actually doing it or telling you anything.
Yeah.
And then just recently, I'm like, I'm serious. I want to know what's going on. And I had some CAT scans and X-rays, and they're like, yeah, we got to get in there. So just on Friday, I got the call. I was so nervous over the past several weeks because they said they were going to call me and let me know when surgery is going to happen. I got this special diet and all this other stuff. Well, they finally called me on Friday, and I was like, okay, everything's fast, and we're going to do this, but it's not. but don't worry. You got this stuff, but we're going to just trim it out, and it's not moving as fast. That you've got it for a long time, but it's so progressive, and we're going to sniff everything out on January 28th. I just found out on Friday that I go in, I get all sniffed up. I don't like doctors, but yeah. So everything's going to get taken care of in January. Until then, I'm just going to work and try to be my super Jedi self.
Yeah, you always have been. As far as I ever remember, you've been that super Jedi that everybody has always depended on, and always was there for everybody. That's just how Tony has been, guys. Tony's been always there for everybody, and that's one of the things I love and appreciate about him. He's always there for everybody. He's been there for me. For those of you that don't know, that haven't been here more than about a year or so, I had cancer about 3 years ago, and Tony was praying. Tony and his friends were praying for me. Tony sent me some medicinal items here. I won't tell you what they are, but he sent me some medicinal items that helped me tremendously. And even the doctors believe that those medicinal items helped me to a great extent and halted my cancer spread. And now I'm free from cancer. So it's awesome.
You know, Ron, thank you for bringing that up, because one of the things that kind of irks me about California and all is we worked so hard to try to make, to get this passed and everything since the late 90s, early 2000s. And the one recipe, the stuff that you got and everything,
Yeah.
You can't get it here in California no more.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's not even allowed anymore. They actually, there's different variants of it, but nothing's actually like that, and which is hard, because that's what kept my dad alive for a couple of years after they gave him a 6-month sentence. The VA did, and for 2 years I kept on going with pretty much exactly what I gave you. And he was hunting and golfing and fishing and building houses and stuff, and they were like, "Oh, you're good enough." Chemo on, and took 2 chemo treatments, and his body fell apart after 2 years of that same stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is definitely the direction, especially if we're going to beat the pharmaceutical drug companies and stuff like that. We got to start incorporating Eastern medicine, alternative medicine, natural medicines, et cetera, and make it all come together and work together.
I agree.
Yeah, not this pharmaceutical drug company. They're just going to pump out stuff that they really don't know. So, okay, Ron, I'm going. I know that you're a busy man, and I love you, brother.
Love you too.
And give Miss Carol a hug, and
Will
tell
do.
her I did a good job for keeping you in line.
She's watching. I don't think she wants to come on the air. She hates coming on the air. I know she's watching us because she tells me that. And yesterday, for example, she was watching our program, and then she came on the chat. So I know she's watching.
Oh, yeah, I think her and I talked a little bit.
Yeah, you guys did.
Yeah. Good job, Miss Carol.
We love her. We love her.
Okay, Ron, Mod Squad, the best, and EMA family, y'all stay safe. Much love. Ron, I'm going to let you get back to your show, and I'm going to go back to checking out this fire thing.
All right. If anything really changes or it really gets bad, let me know, and we'll go back on the air and we'll talk about it.
You know I will. As a matter of fact, y'all will be the first people I call. So
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. God bless.
God bless.
We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Guys, that was Sage Pup. Now, Sage Pup doesn't normally come on the air. He is like my wife that really doesn't like to go on the air, but he'll come on the air occasionally like he just did. Sage Pup is a great man. I have learned a lot from him. He's been a great friend and a brother to me. And honestly, there's probably, I can count on one hand the number of men and women that I truly love more like family. And you all know who you are. You all know who you are. So folks, please know that we love Sage Pup. We hope he returns to health very soon. January 28th, he's going under the knife. I understand he may have some part of his colon removed. Let's keep him in prayer, brothers and sisters. Let's keep Sage Pup in prayer. His name is Tony. We love him very much. I've known Tony for about 5 years now. We love him. He's been a great help to me. He's been a great help to all of us, keeping us informed about the fires and other things going on and earthquakes that happened over in Southern California. He's a great man. I admire him greatly. Anyway, let's go and talk about earthquakes. Okay? Earthquakes. Well, first, before we get talking about earthquakes, there's something very important happening right now.
Downgraded to 5.0 from 5.3 location Volcano Islands, Japan region. Class moderate, depth 11.8 miles, 17 minutes ago.
A moderate earthquake just hit the Volcano Islands, just south and east of Japan. Not a big deal because the Volcano Islands are not occupied. Okay? It's over just north of the Mariana Trench. Okay? That's where that is. Now, let's talk about Hurricane Rafael. Hurricane Rafael hit northern Cuba today with winds of 65 to 70 miles per hour. It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. Now, this may be a dangerous hurricane. Now, while Rafael, and I got this from the Weather Service right before we came on, I was talking to Mr. Rogers from the National Weather Service. He was talking to me about the hurricane probably not expected to make landfall in Florida. Again, it's not expected to make landfall in Florida. Okay? But it hit northern Cuba. There may be wind waves, there may be some storm surge in the Florida Keys. But again, this hurricane is not expected to make landfall right now in Florida. Now, we all know about weather manipulation. We've seen weather manipulation happen before. Now we may see it again, okay? Impacts from Hurricane Rafael may be felt from Florida all the way over to Alabama, Mississippi, over into New Orleans, Louisiana, okay? Various portions of the hurricane will hit, okay? Ranging from gusty winds, rain, threat, and tropical spawn tornadoes. Tropical spawn tornadoes. Now, I've told you about this before. I told you about these threats before. I have wanted to be very honest with you about what's going on, and I always will be. But folks, what is going on with this hurricane can be very deadly. Now, I'm just making this small here. I'm going to keep it up where you can see it. Now, why would we have tornadoes with hurricanes? The hurricane is a storm, correct? And the hurricane is spinning. The outer bands of the hurricane are thunderstorms, very dangerous thunderstorms. This hurricane is spinning like this. As it spins, it's throwing off these thunderstorms, and the thunderstorms are spawning tornadoes. So that's what we're going to see from this Hurricane Rafael today. Okay? Now, this will not hit land today. It's showing the cone of uncertainty in this case shows it going out into the Gulf of Mexico, headed for northern Mexico. Let me show you this next slide here. This is the kicker. This is a big kicker. The spaghetti models differ. Okay? Look at the spaghetti models in this picture here. Let me enlarge this picture so you can truly see what we're talking about here. Okay? See over in northern Cuba where this hurricane has hit already? Some of the spaghetti models do show it going into northern Mexico. But as you can see, the main spaghetti models have this hurricane going over to land over near Louisiana and Mississippi. As this hurricane continues to spin into the Gulf of Mexico during the next day or so. Starting tomorrow, we'll cover this in great length because this hurricane is going to gain strength. Right now, it's a Category 1/Category 2 hurricane, 80 miles per hour storm. Now, as it goes here into the northern Gulf of Mexico, it's going to hit warmer water. With that warmer water, it's going to gain strength. This hurricane could become a Category 3 to a Category 4 storm. That remains to be seen. But as you can tell, the main spaghetti models here show this storm going into Louisiana and Mississippi. Let me pull this down. I want you to see this. Look at where the spaghetti model shows it going. Into Tennessee, into West Virginia. One spaghetti model has it going into Kentucky, up into Iowa, Indiana area. Folks, this is a dangerous storm. What we saw this last time with Hurricane Helene, it was not supposed to go up into the northern part, eastern part of the United States, not supposed to go into South Carolina, North Carolina at all. It was supposed to spin out of the great big huge bend in Florida at the Panhandle, and it's supposed to go north and then west. Okay? Yes, they thought it might go into Georgia. They thought it would probably go into Alabama, Texas, and spin off towards Kentucky and Missouri. It went into North Carolina instead and caused a lot of damage. It nearly killed friends of mine. It totally obliterated their homes. Many other people here in the western North Carolina were killed. A lot of flooding, as President Trump stated. He was there. President Trump visited Asheville and the surrounding area. Asheville was terribly demolished because a dam broke there because of the hurricane. The dam broke and flooded Asheville. Asheville was a town of 95,000 people. Some of those people no longer exist. They're unalive, as Hurricane Heather and others have put it. Now, what will happen with Hurricane Rafael? Could it also be modified where it would continue to spin out of control after it hits Louisiana, Mississippi, and continue to go north into Tennessee, further wreaking havoc with the roads in Tennessee as Hurricane Helene did, and continue into Kentucky and points north? Or is it going to go further east into South and North Carolina again? That remains to be seen. Hopefully once it hits land, like it normally does, it hits land and then it completely loses power and dwindles into a tropical storm, into nothing more than tropical winds and some rain. Hopefully that will happen. But I wanted to show you this because I thought it was important. We needed to talk about Hurricane Rafael. This is very important, guys. For those of you that live here in the southern portion of the United States, you may be very much interested in this. A tropical storm warning has been issued for the lower middle Florida Keys from Key West to the west of the Channel 5 bridge. Hurricane Rafael made landfall in the Cuban province of Artemisia, just east of Playa Mayana. Now that was at 4:15 p.m. It was a Category 3 storm. Rafael is expected to move into the Gulf of Mexico still as a hurricane, and it could gain strength. Spaghetti models currently suggest that Rafael is most likely to make landfall along the central Louisiana coast. However, the National Hurricane Center, Mr. Rogers told me, is issuing caution. They're issuing caution, asking everybody to be very careful, because steering currents could push the storm anywhere from the Florida Panhandle to the Texas coast. From the Florida Panhandle to the Texas coast, when it makes landfall late this weekend, or even early next week. Gulf Coast residents are advised to stay updated and to prepare for potential impacts. Gulf Coast residents are advised to stay updated and prepare for potential impacts. I'm asking you right now, make sure that your preparedness plan is in effect. If you live down here, you need to have an emergency preparedness plan, whether it be for hurricanes, fires, windstorms, winter storms, whatever it might be. You need to have an emergency preparedness plan. You also need to have an emergency preparedness kit. This is absolutely mandatory. If you're going to survive these storms, you need to have a plan and you need to have a preparedness kit. Regardless of Rafael's exact path, a portion of Texas and or Florida could still see some of the effects of this storm. I want to caution everybody. The sea surface temperatures on land or by land near the coastline are 80 degrees sea surface temperatures. Not warm enough to sustain a hurricane. Not warm enough to sustain a hurricane. However, things could change. If this storm is controlled by anyone like Hurricane Helene was, we may see a lot of damage. I will keep you all informed about what's going on. I think it's absolutely certain that this storm may be controlled. Okay? I believe this storm may be a bit controlled. We shall see what happens. Now this is good news. The sea surface temperatures in the northern Gulf of Mexico are only 80 degrees. We've seen sea surface temperatures in the Gulf of Mexico there along the coastline of Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas, upwards of 85 degrees this time of year. It's a good thing that the temperatures are only 80 degrees. Yes, there is a possibility for a Category 4 hurricane to hit the coastline. Right now it's a Category 3 storm. Okay? I want you to be very careful. I want you to be very careful. This storm could be very dangerous. Okay? Now let's go talk about earthquakes. There's some earthquakes that we need to talk about. Okay? Again, let's go over to the USGS map. I hate this map. No, I despise the USGS. I don't hate the map. I despise the United States Geological Survey. I have nothing good to say about them. Okay? First off, over here on the west coast of the United States, let's take a look at that. Just a second here. I want to first take a look at Northern California here, in the Southern Cascadia Subduction Zone region. Okay? What am I looking at here? Or I should say, what are we looking at here? Okay? You have an earthquake here on land. This is Shelter Cove, California. This is just south of the Mendocino Fault. However, notice where it's at. This is just barely on the San Andreas Fault. The San Andreas Fault. There is an earthquake just north of there, over here near Petrolia, California. This is a 2.6. This one in Shelter Cove is a 3.1 small earthquake. We have one other earthquake out to sea, just west of Petrolia, California. 50 kilometers, about 35, 38 miles west of Petrolia, California. This is over off the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment is that line running off the coast of California out to sea. The east-west earthquake fault, the Gorda Escarpment. This is a 2.1 minor earthquake. So we have a 2.1 here. We have a 2.6 here. That's an increase. And then we have this other one here over in Shelter Cove, which is a 3.1. This is the largest earthquake of the day here in the southern Cascadia subduction zone. Now let's take a look at the world out here in the Pacific Ocean. Okay? Now, just a few minutes ago, you may have heard an earthquake over here in the Aleutian Island area. Nelson Lagoon, Alaska. This is over in the southern tip of the Alaska Peninsula. This is a moderate 4.2 earthquake. It came out as a 4.3. They've reduced it to a 4.2 earthquake, a moderate earthquake. 4.0 to 4.9 are considered by the USGS and the other agencies to be light earthquakes, but they're not light. I need to emphasize that the 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes are not light at all. They want everybody to believe that they're nothing earthquakes. They are earthquakes that can cause damage. Earthquakes that can cause damage are moderate earthquakes. Large earthquakes are 5.0 to 5.9. And yes, we have a couple of those in the southern Pacific we're going to look at in just a minute here. But this is a 4.2 earthquake. Further west over here on the Aleutian Island Fault Zone, this is a small 3.2. Earthquakes 3.0, 3.9 are considered to be small earthquakes. This is a 3.2 small earthquake, 29 kilometers, about 20 miles north of Atka, Alaska. Okay? Atka, Alaska. You notice the other earthquakes here in central Alaska? They're just tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors and minor earthquakes. Tremors 1.0 to 1.9, minor earthquakes 2.0 to 2.9. Not a big deal. The only earthquake that I want to take a quick look at is this one right here. This is Sitka, Alaska. Why am I concerned about Sitka, Alaska? What do we have here at Sitka, Alaska? Those of you who can see this, it's covered by a cloud here. Right now by the satellite picture, it's covered by a cloud, but there's Sitka volcano. Sitka volcano. And there's a couple other volcanoes also just east of there. So we're looking at this as just a 1.4 tremor, but it's right next to a volcano. Right next to a volcano. This is only 6.4 kilometers deep, 3 miles deep. Okay? Now, let's go further south and east, or west I should say. Further south and west. This is that earthquake we told you about over in the Volcano Islands. This is a large 5.0 earthquake. No big deal. The Volcano Islands are not occupied. This is just north of the Great Mariana Trench, the deepest trench in the Pacific Ocean. We go further west over here. Taiwan. Taiwan. This is just off the coast of Taiwan, literally. Literally just off the coast of Taiwan. This is also a large 5.0 earthquake. Okay? Well, this being this close to Taiwan, the residents of Hualien City which is one of the largest cities in Taiwan, felt something here. They may have not felt the 5.0 large quake, but they did feel at least moderate shaking over here on the western or the eastern side of Taiwan. This is only 6 miles, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? 6.2 miles, 10 kilometers deep. We go further south here. Notice here in the Philippines, they're not showing any earthquakes. Guess what? USBS is lying. They are lying through their teeth. There are many earthquakes here in the Philippines. USGS not showing them. Notice over here in Indonesia, they're basically only showing 2 earthquakes here. This earthquake is a 4.5 earthquake in Timor-Leste, Indonesia. 130 kilometers deep. A 4.5 moderate earthquake. 4.5 moderate earthquake over here in eastern Indonesia here. Timor-Leste, Indonesia. This is out in the open waters of the Banda Sea. Nobody felt this earthquake. Number one, it's a moderate earthquake. Moderate earthquakes don't cause much damage at all, but they do cause some damage. That means it's in here, in the Banda Sea here, the ocean waters of the Banda Sea absorb the shock waves of this quake. Now we're going to go further west. This is where it becomes very concerning. Aveyah, Indonesia. Aveyah, Indonesia. Abepura, Indonesia. 4.6 moderate earthquake. Notice where this earthquake is. 121 kilometers southwest of Aveyah, Indonesia. Now, folks, this is concerning. Yes, it's on land. There are some people that live in this area. These people are not living in the best of circumstances. Many of these people don't live in the best of circumstances at all. Their lives are in danger every time one of these shakers hits. This is a moderate 4.6. They live in basically timber cardboard shacks. Timber cardboard shacks here. And they've had a lot of rain recently. That rain has weakened their living conditions. Their living conditions are very bad. When a shaker like this hits, they start to lose confidence in themselves and the world. A 4.6 earthquake, 94 kilometers deep. Still a very shallow earthquake. We've had earthquakes here in Aveyah as much as a 7.4 earthquake in the past 4 years. Let's go further east here. Now, these are not the only earthquakes that have hit here. Indonesia has 13 earthquakes in there. They're only showing 2. We come over here to Papua New Guinea. Here's where it gets very interesting. This is a 6.0 earthquake. This is a very strong 6.0 earthquake. This is in the waters of the South Pacific. Okay? This is also a very shallow earthquake. Only 52 kilometers deep. Now, it is in the open waters here. It's not very close to land. It's 124 kilometers east-southeast of Kokopo, Papua New Guinea. We've also seen 7.4 earthquakes here before. This is a very strong 6.0 earthquake. For the most part, the waters of the Pacific Ocean absorb the shock waves of this quake. But you can see nearby islands. People living on these nearby islands. Again, their living conditions are poor at best. They may have felt some shaking, some very dangerous shaking. They may have felt 5.0 earthquake. They may have felt as much as a 5.0 earthquake. Yes, that is terrifically lower than a 6.0. But their living conditions are very poor, so they may have been affected adversely by this earthquake. A 6.0 earthquake, 124 kilometers east-southeast Kokopo, Papua New Guinea, 52 kilometers deep. That's not the only one here. Let's continue to go further west here. Over here in Fiji. Actually, I'm sorry, I'm thinking ahead of myself. This is the Solomon Islands. This is a 4.7 earthquake in the Solomon Islands. 135 kilometers south-southeast of Lata, Solomon Islands. This is also 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. A very shallow earthquake. This was a moderate 4.7 earthquake, but guess what? The Pacific Ocean waters absorbed the shock waves of this quake. This was not close enough to do anything. But notice where this earthquake happened. Notice where this earthquake happened. This is right smack dab on one of the tectonic plates. Literally right on the edge of the continental shelf here, the edge of the craton. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. 7 different tectonic plates in this region, ranging from all the way over here in the eastern part of the Pacific Islands in Samoa, going over here to Tonga, where we have 2 other earthquakes here. This is another 6.0 earthquake in Fiji area, eastern Fiji region. This is slightly deeper. This is 431 kilometers deep, nearly 432 kilometers deep. The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of this quake. But again, it's a 6.0 earthquake. Let's zoom into it and show you what we're seeing here. Yes, there are islands here in this nearby area. Yes, there are people that live on these islands. Fiji people are a little bit better equipped to handle earthquakes. This being a 6.0 earthquake, it's still a dangerous earthquake. The waters of the Pacific Ocean absorbed most of the shock waves from this quake. But this is a moderately deep earthquake. This is going to spawn a much larger earthquake. This 6.0 earthquake is going to spawn a 6.8, 7.0 earthquake. This earthquake is going to spawn a 6.8 to a 7.0 earthquake. A much larger, more shallow quake. Now this earthquake that it's going to spawn or propagate, it may be in the same region. It could go north into Fiji, over into Fortuna, Wallis area. It could go north and east over into Tonga, or into the Samoa Islands. It could go over here into Vanuatu, or the Solomon Islands further to the west. That's where I think it's going to go. A 6.8 to a 7.0 earthquake is going to result from this 6.0 earthquake here. Now south of here, there's another large earthquake here. This is a 5.1 earthquake. This earthquake is a much deeper earthquake. This is a 586 kilometer deep earthquake. This 5.1 earthquake here is going to propagate a 6.0, 6.2 earthquake. A 6.0, 6.2 very strong earthquake. Again, this earthquake could spawn an earthquake going up here into the Fiji Islands. It could go over into Wallis Futuna to the north. It could go over here into Tonga or Samoa to the northeast. Or it could also go
Indonesia class light magnitude 4.1 11 minutes ago.
Indonesia has another 4.1 moderate earthquake. Now, this earthquake that's going to propagate from this 5.1 over in the southern Fiji region, it could spawn an earthquake going over here in the Vanuatu or the Solomon Islands. Another 6.0 earthquake like we're seeing already here. Again, this area here is the largest subduction zone in the world. The largest subduction zone in the world. I'm going to talk more about that in just a second. Let's go down here in the Kermadec Islands. The Kermadec Islands here belong to New Zealand. The Kermadec Islands here are nothing more than a bird sanctuary. The Kermadec Islands are pieces of volcanic rock. And there's other volcanic rock around the islands, protecting the islands from human habitation. The only time humans can go anywhere near the Kermadec Islands is at high tide to check on the birds. If they go at low tide, their boats would be destroyed by the waves and the rock beneath the water. So they can't do that. This is a 4.6 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands. A moderate earthquake, 10 kilometers deep. Not a big deal. Now, look here. Look here. We're talking about New Zealand now. We're very much talking about New Zealand. USBS is not showing any earthquakes here. What a joke. What a frickin' joke. This area here, guys, is hit with earthquakes every day. For the United States Geological Survey, just ignoring it is a fallacy. And one day the United States Geological Survey is going to be held account for lying to the public. Them not telling anybody about these earthquakes is a joke. It's a literally joke. But it's not a joke to these people here in the islands of New Zealand. Let me show you this. Let's take down this earthquake map for a minute. I want to bring up my webcam. I want to show you what really happened in New Zealand today. Look at this, guys. Look at New Zealand here. This is serious. This is serious. 18 earthquakes in New Zealand today. 18 earthquakes. Let's look at these earthquakes in New Zealand. I think we ought to take a look at it. Let's look at north of New Zealand there. Okay? Just south of the Kermadec Islands. This is a 4.6 earthquake. That's a 4.6 earthquake in the Kermadec Islands. Just west of there, this is a 4.2 earthquake there. West of there, this is a 3.2. So USGS is showing only one earthquake in the Kermadec Islands here. There are three. There are three. Why are they only showing one? Because they're stupid. They're really stupid. Now, I want to show you this. This is also important here tonight. Okay? This is the Bay of Plenty. Right here is the Bay of Plenty right there. We call it the catcher's mitt because we like to have fun with this. Yes, it does look like a baseball catcher's mitt. Look at all these earthquakes in the Bay of Plenty. I'm going to tell you what those earthquakes were in the Bay of Plenty, going north to south. Also on this earthquake fault. Look where these earthquakes are. They're on the earthquake fault going directly into the North Island of New Zealand. Okay? That is a 3.0. Going further south, another 2.75. Just west of there, a 2.55, minor earthquake. The 3s are small earthquakes. The 2.0, 2.9 are minor earthquakes. Further south, 2.35, 2.31, 2.71, 2.25, 2.25, 2.943.0, 2.45, and this one is a 3.18. This one is a 3.18. So we had 3 3s and the rest are all 2s. Not bad. Not bad. 12 earthquakes right there. 12 earthquakes in the Bay of Plenty right there. Let's continue. Going over to the northeast shore of New Zealand, on the North Island. Gisborne, New Zealand, 3.0. 3.0 right there. East of there. Also on the other earthquake fault coming out of Tonga. This is a 2.74. That other earthquake fault coming out of Tonga. 2 separate major earthquake faults in this area. One, the Tonga Ridge fault there. The other, the Fiji Ridge fault. Okay? Now let's go over to mainland North Island, New Zealand. Right here. This is a 2.5 earthquake. Let's show you this other earthquake, then I'll talk a minute about what we're looking at. This is a small 3.14. The reason I'm covering this is we have people in New Zealand that watch this program. What is just south of these earthquakes? What is just south of these earthquakes? Right here. This is Topa Lake. This is Topa Lake. Topa Lake is a supervolcano. Topa Lake is a supervolcano. Yes, these earthquakes may not have anything to do with the volcano, but we have plenty of other seismic activity here that does have everything to do with the volcano. USGS and the European agency that we're showing you these earthquakes with isn't showing all the tremors and minor earthquakes happening around Topa Lake, Topa volcano. Further south over to the southern shore of the North Island. This is a 2.32 earthquake here. This is a 2.32 earthquake. Further west, near another volcano over here, this is a 2.63 earthquake. Just west of this earthquake is another volcano. Another volcano. There's another volcano right here. This is Rafael volcano.
Location, Kermadec Islands region, class moderate, magnitude 5.3, depth 21.7 miles, 10 minutes ago.
Another 4.3 earthquake hit the Kermadec Islands. Now, Rafael volcano right there. This volcano erupted about 3 years ago. Minor eruption. Just a minor eruption. Some lava made it around the rim of the volcano and went down the sides of the volcano. Some lava. Was not a huge eruption, but it could have been. It could have been. Now let's go further south and east to the other side of the North Island. The North Island of New Zealand is called Raoul Island. Raoul Island. This is a 2.72 earthquake. Trinu Valley, Wellington, New Zealand. A 2.72 earthquake right there. 2.72 earthquake right there. I don't know why when I identify these earthquakes that they don't stay up for very long. Over here in the water, between the two islands, we have 3 earthquakes, don't we? Here, going north to south and east, we have a 2.21, a 2.37, and a 3.0. This is in the Cook Strait here. The Cook Strait. The water between the North and South Island of New Zealand is called the Cook Strait. The Cook Inlet is the waterway stretching from the North Pacific over into Anchorage. That is the Cook Inlet. This is the Cook Strait here. Let's go over to the South Island here. Tasman, New Zealand. 3.0 earthquake right here. Tasman, New Zealand. Further south, Atapo, Tasman, New Zealand. 2.28 earthquake. Minor earthquake. Look at this other earthquake on the fault zone here. Right there. This is also a 2.2 earthquake. That same fault zone coming out
Earthquake upgraded to 5.4 from 5.2 location. Kermadec Islands region, class moderate, depth 21.7 miles, 12 minutes ago.
Another 5.4 large earthquake in the Kermadec Islands. Interesting. And we just got through talking about it. Let's go over to the Southland, New Zealand. Southland Park, New Zealand. This is a 2.31 earthquake. Again, this is on the fault zone running right down, the smack down through the eastern side of the North Island, then turns into the South Island and goes over here to the south part of New Zealand here, where this earthquake's a 2.31 earthquake. So we have plenty of earthquakes over on New Zealand. Again, just north of the other earthquakes we got to talking about over in the Kermadec Islands, now we have a 5.53 earthquake. A large 5.53 earthquake here in the Kermadec Islands. This is a shell earthquake, 21.7 miles deep. Earthquakes down here in the South Pacific. Now folks, like I said, this is just part of the 7 tectonic plates here. This is the eastern part of the 7 tectonic plates. We go over here into Australia. Australia is in and of itself a tectonic plate. It's called the Indo-Australian Plate. The other earthquakes you see here in Indonesia and the Philippines are part of the other 6 tectonic plates. The 6 tectonic plates. Why are we talking about it? Because each one of the tectonic plates we're talking about here are subducting. They're subducting. They're going each underneath each other, just like this. That is why we have so many earthquakes in the South Pacific, both in Indonesia, the Philippines to the north, and also over here to the east in the South Pacific Islands. That's why we're having so many earthquakes. Okay? That's
Earthquake
happening.
downgraded to 5.2 from 5.4. Location, Kermadec Islands region, class moderate, depth 6.2 miles, 15 minutes ago.
They just downgraded it. How about that? They just downgraded the cotton picker. Here they had it as a 5.53. Now they downgraded to a 5.3 from the 5.5. Okay, sorry I had to pick up my pointer, my pen here. I dropped it. I dropped it. South America. USGS showing us only 2 earthquakes in northern Chile. Over here in central Chile on the coastline, we have a 3.0 over near Coquimbo, Chile. A small 3.0 earthquake. We go north. Over here is where we have small earthquakes. This is northern Chile here. We have small earthquakes and also moderate 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes all the time. Every day, all the time. This is Atacama, Chile. This is Tarapacá, Chile. Provinces in northern Chile. We go north. Why am I concerned about it? Now we're talking Peru. south central Peru. We have a 4.5 earthquake here, and right next to it we have a 4.3. Both of them shell earthquakes. We go further north also in Peru. This is the 3.7. Go further north. This is a 4.1, also in Peru. This is Trujillo, La Libertad, Peru. A 4.1 moderate earthquake there. Then we go over into Colombia. This is a 2.0 earthquake near Santander, Colombia. This is normal. That's completely normal. We have had as many as 25 earthquakes in South America before. Each and every one of those earthquakes are along the coastline of South America. What is the coastline? It's the edge of the South American plate. The edge of the South American plate. That's what happens. Now, look what we have here in Central America. 14 earthquakes here in Central America. It says 10 plus. There's 14 earthquakes there. We go over into southern Mexico. Look at all the earthquakes here. 18 earthquakes in here in southern Mexico. These range in size from 4.6 all the way down to 3.2. 4.6 moderate quakes down to 3.2 small quakes, all over southern Mexico. There's no large earthquakes here yet. Why am I saying that? Because small earthquakes over in southern Mexico spawn large earthquakes. And as you can see, there's a large number of earthquakes here in southern Mexico. Now, why am I showing you that? Let's bring up the USGS map again. Need to really consider what they're showing us here, because they're not being honest with us, not one little bit. Let me take down my mug here so you can see properly what I'm going to show you now. Okay? Hardly anything showing here in South America, right? Just like I said. Nothing showing you here in Central America. 14 earthquakes here. A bunch of earthquakes here in southern Mexico, they're not showing any. None. Wonderful thing, huh? Wonderful thing. They're not showing squat. Southern California. Off of San Diego this time. Actually, no, this is off of Orange County. San Clemente Island. This is a 3.0 earthquake just southeast of San Clemente Island. Small earthquake here. In this case, guess what? They say this is minus 0.2 kilometers deep. Supposed to be above sea level. But folks, this is not above sea level. This is out in the Pacific Ocean, just off the coast of San Clemente Island. This is still below sea level, so USGS is lying about it. A small earthquake here. We go over here. Okay? Corona, California. Northeast of Los Angeles. 1.1 tremor. Right here. Home Gardens. Good old Home Gardens. Glen Avon, California. Wonderful place, huh? They say this is a quarry blast. They're saying this is a quarry blast, a 1.3 tremor quarry blast. Let's look at it. I just love these things. Okay? In this case here, this is just north and east of the quarry. It's in the hills here. Folks, this is not a quarry blast. Notice where this earthquake is. It's on a roadway. There is no way in heck that there would be a quarry blast in the middle of the roadway. Sorry, USGS, no cigar. Yes, this is north and east of the quarry. But it's in the hills above the quarry. It's not a quarry blast, USGS. Get your act together. I don't know why USBS continues to show earthquakes over here in the hills outside of Home Gardens. Guess what? They're not quarry blasts again. They're not. I just love showing that. I don't know why USGS tries to pound that into our heads that there's a quarry there. There's not. That was not a quarry blast. It was north and east of the quarry. Now, we go further south here. Lake Elsinore. Okay? This is supposed to be 5 kilometers just northeast of Lake Elsinore. You can see Lake Elsinore right here. Lake Elsinore has no streams or rivers to put water into the lake. During the summertime and this time of year, the area around Lake Elsinore gets around 70, 75 degrees. Lake Elsinore is uniquely called Lake Smell-Some-More. Lake Smell-Some-More. With the water not leaving Lake Elsinore, no new water coming in, rarely, except because of storms, Lake Elsinore is going to smell when it gets warm. And that's what's happening this time of year. Again, they're saying there's a quarry blast here. Let's take a look at this. Guess what? Not a quarry blast here either. Let's look closely. This is an industrial area. There is no quarry here. Again, USGS has no clue what they're talking about. This is a quarter of a mile deep. A quarter of a mile deep. A 1.3 tremor here. No quarry here either, USBS. Stupid. Demon Catman says Sage Pup has an update. Tony, go ahead and give me a call again. Let's talk. Sage Pup says, update, multiple homes, neighborhoods burnt. Evacuation orders for several communities and neighborhoods, Camarillo, California. Unreal. Let's go take a look at those. Here's Tony, guys. Hey there, Tony, you're on the air.
Right on. Anybody got friends and family that's in the Camarillo, Ventura area? Please, they probably already know, but if they're like on some sort of multiple neighborhoods burning or have burned, especially along the mountain ridge, it's traveling down the mountain ridge coming westwardly. And but most of the trees are doing good. It's the structures. It's just bouncing from structure to structure to structure, and most of the old and Ron, you know this area. You know it's a whole bunch of really old structures. You know that dates back to the 1900s. That's along here, and homes and whatnot that's been built over the past 120 years. Well, it's only the newer structures are kind of doing good, but like all the old structures, they're just not doing so good. And it's the wind driven. The wind's calmed down a little bit over the past couple of hours, but there's so many small fires and new fires off of this fire and the way it is spread. There's several communities affected right now, and multiple evacuation orders are being put in place. So, but that's all I got. I'm just following live stuff, like I said before. So, but yeah, it seems that it's kind of getting crazy out. The winds die down in that area, so that they can put some sort of stop to it. But,
yeah.
Yeah, here there's no wind at all where I'm at, but I know that changes from just going 2 miles down to the beach and back. So, okay, everybody, stay safe. God bless, and I'll let you know if there's anything else. Okay, Ron?
Thanks. Appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. God bless. Be safe.
God bless.
See you soon. Bye. Now, Tony talked about that fire over in Ventura County, Camarillo Heights area. I'm looking right now at a very short 30-second video. It shows this very expensive, probably $500,000 home up in flames. The whole home is been engulfed in flames from the inside out. It's terrible. I have been in this area before. A brush fire that erupted in Balcom Canyon and the Bradley Roads area this morning has burned nearly 9,000 acres and has prompted evacuations and a large-scale response. Dangerous Santa Ana winds. These are called devil winds. Devil winds, Santa Ana winds. They are fanning the blaze. This blaze has ignited nearly 7,900 block of Bradley Road and Balcom Canyon Road shortly before 9 a.m. The mountain fire, as it has been named, has reportedly jumped Highway 118 near Camarillo Heights shortly after 10:45 a.m. this morning. For the latest evacuations and power shutoffs, those of you living in this area need to visit VCEMERGENCY.com. VCEmergency.com, one word. VCEmergency.com, one word. Or you can call their hotline. Let me give you the number. The number here is 805-465-6650. Again, the hotline to find more information on evacuations and power shutoffs is 805-465-6650. 805-465-6650. Incredible. The fires prompted evacuations and road closures in Camarillo and Moore Park, California, according to the Ventura County Fire Department. That's coming from Rob 52. Rob 52 used to live in the Los Angeles area. He knows this area just like I do. This is a very dangerous area. Now, there are evacuation orders in Camarillo and Somas, California. The following evacuation orders are in effect for unincorporated areas near Somas, Camarillo Heights, and nearby areas as of mid-afternoon today. Zone 1. North of Somas, areas northeast of Los Angeles Avenue, Highway 118 west of Balcom Canyon Road, and east of La Vista Road. Zone 2. Saticoy Country Club. Saticoy Country Club. SATICOI Country Club. East of Los Angeles Avenue and Highway 118 and south of the Santa Clara River and north of Beardsley Road. North of Beardsley Road. Zone 3. Areas south of Highway 118, west of North Lewis Road, north of North Loop Drive and Mission Drive, and east of Fairway Drive. Zone 4. West Camarillo, Las Posas, Spanish Hills area, north of Las Posas Road, south and east of Central Avenue and Beardsley Road, and west of Anacapa Road. Anacapa Drive. ANACAPA Drive. Zone 6. The area extending south of Santa Clara River, east of Los Angeles Avenue, north of Saticoy Country Club. Again, let me repeat that. The area extending south of Santa Clara River, east of Los Angeles Avenue, north of Saticoy Country Club, and east of Briggs Road. Briggs Road, BRIGGS Road. Zone 7. The area north of Highway 101 and south and east of Beardsley Avenue and south of Central Avenue. Okay? Next, There is a shelter. There is a shelter located at Padre Sierra Parish. Padre Sierra Parish. 5205 Upland Road in the Camarillo area. There's a shelter called Padre Sierra Parish at 5205 Upland Road, UPLAND Road in the Camarillo area. Evacuation areas. Authorities have issued the following evacuation warnings as of mid-afternoon today. A warning means people should be prepared to leave at a moment's notice. What have I talked about before? What have I talked about before? If you have a warning, you need to leave. If there's a possibility, if there's even a possibility that you might have to leave, you need to just leave.
Class moderate, magnitude 5.1, depth 6.2 miles, 15 minutes ago.
If you even think that there's a possibility that you should leave, you just need to get out. You need to get out, and you need to get out right now. Now you see an earthquake over here in the Santa Barbara area, Ventura County area. This is Malibu, California. Sage Pup told us about possible fire over there in the Malibu area. This is an earthquake here. This is a 1.3 tremor. But this is what we're looking at right here. Ventura County right there. Okay? That's Ventura County. Again, a warning means most people need to be prepared to leave. If you ever think, if you live in this area and you even think that you may have to evacuate, the time to evacuate is right now. Get out while the getting out is good. Don't wait till the sheriff's deputy or the police department comes over their loudspeakers and tells you you have to leave. Get your things together, get your emergency preparedness kits, take your plan, take your kids, take your precious photos and everything else you need, and take it, load it in your car, and get the heck out of Dodge. Don't wait to be told to leave. Get out now. If you wait to be told to leave, there'll be a lot of people on the roadway. Then you may have problems. Then you may find yourself driving down the roadway surrounded by fire. Don't do it. Like I said, get out of Dodge while the getting's good. Zone 8, an area extending south of South Mountain Road, east of Briggs Road, and west of 12th Street and Bixby Road. Bixby, B-I-X-B-Y Road. Ventura. The Ventura Police Department issued an evacuation warning for the east end of the city of Ventura. The east end of the city of Ventura, from Pettit Road east to the city limits. From Pettit Road east to the city limits. Residents who may need additional time to evacuate should consider evacuating earlier. Those people that need additional time to evacuate should consider to evacuate early. Don't stay until you're told to leave. Get out right now. Okay? Do I need to make myself any clearer? Road closures. The following road closures are in effect as of early this afternoon. Northbound Lewis Road at Las Posas. Eastbound Highway 118 at Wells Road. Wells, W-E-L-L-S Road. Westbound Highway 118 at Tierra Rajada Road. Tierra Rajada Road. T-E-R-R-A Rajada, R-E-J-A-D-A Road. Westbound Highway 118 at Tierra Rajada Road. 101 northbound off of Ramps at Central Avenue. 101 Highway 101 northbound off Ramps at Central Avenue. Those are the road closures. Okay? Again, for more updates, the mountain fires burned 8,900 acres as wind and flames whipped through the Somas, Camarillo Heights area. You need to be aware that you need to get out of Dodge. And get out of Dodge early before you have to leave. And you're going to be forced to leave. Get out now. Get out now. A few minutes ago, I showed you fire and flames in this area. I showed you a building that was fully engulfed. It was probably a chicken roost building or some other farmland building out there in the Camarillo area, completely engulfed in flames and burning. You need to get out of Dodge, guys. You need to pay attention and get out of Dodge while the getting's good. Do we have any more questions? Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay. Rob52 says he knows this area very well. He used to live in San Fernando Valley. The San Fernando Valley guys. It's a beautiful area. But when these Santa Ana Devils winds come through there, it's dangerous. And this time period of year, it's when it happens. Between the end of August into November. The end of August into November, we get these dangerous Santa Ana winds. And I have fought fires in the east part of Los Angeles County, down in Orange County, and into San Diego. I fought the fires. I've set up radio communications command posts on top of the mountains out there. I know what these are like. And because I was on the mountaintop right next to the fires, sometimes I had to move my command post away from the fire. That happens. That happens. Rob52 says upwards of 60 miles per hour and higher. Yes, very dangerous winds, guys. Very, very dangerous winds. Does anybody have any questions? I know we've gone kind of long today, but I was late starting until almost 7 o'clock tonight. But I wanted to make sure we got this information out to you. Do you guys have any other questions? No, we've not talked internationally over in Europe and that area, but there are earthquakes in Europe. There are earthquakes in the Middle East as well. Okay? And I know we have a lot of people in Ireland. We have people over in England and DCM. I love you, my friend. I do. If there's anything that happens in England that we ought to be aware of, please let me know and I'll put it on the air. I'll put it on the air in a heartbeat. I care about you guys. I love you guys very much. We've had people from Romania that have been in our chat before. We've had people from Croatia. We've had people from Greece. We've had people from Scandinavia, Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and Finland. We've had people in Germany here, Switzerland. We've had people from Australia, New Zealand in the chat, as well as people from South America and Central America, and even over in Japan. We appreciate all of you being here. We really do. Sage Pup says fire is unpredictable. It is. If there's a fire in your area, you need to be ready. Like I said, get your emergency preparedness gear ready. Get your preparedness kit. If you have any questions about what a preparedness kit is, go back through our videos that we have here on our YouTube channels. Okay, go back through all of our videos. If there's a video that says preparedness or emergency preparedness, where it says preparedness kits, go there and watch that program. It'll give you valuable information on what you need to have. Okay? We have given you all the information about emergency planning as well. Right up here on my shelf, I told you. Right up here on my shelf, we have an emergency preparedness plan for Carol and I. 110, I think it's 112 pages now. I add to it all the time. Add to it all the time. Please, folks, know what you're doing. Know what you're doing. If you have any questions, contact me. Send me an email. If you have my telephone number, text message me. And if necessary, we'll call on the phone. I have no problem doing that. Carol and I talk to you guys all the time. We love you and appreciate you. Guys, I care about you. If there's anything else happening today or tonight or in the morning, we'll come back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Otherwise, we'll see you between 6 and 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Before I leave here tonight, I want to leave you a word from the Scriptures. It says here, "Now Satan had gotten great hold upon the hearts of the people." Doesn't that sound like what's happening today in our world? Satan gotten great hold upon the hearts of the people. Therefore, they would not hearken unto the words of Alma, the prophet. Nevertheless, Alma labored much in the Spirit, wrestling with God in mighty prayer, that he would pour out his Spirit upon the people who were in the city, that he would also grant that he might be able to baptize them unto repentance. Folks, isn't that what we're supposed to do? Prepare for the time of the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ? Well, guess what? That time is now. That time is now. We need to prepare ourselves for the coming of Christ. We know he's coming. I can bear you my testimony that I know Jesus Christ is on his way. It's literally when. It is literally when. It's not if, it's when. Okay? Be prepared. Be prepared. Christ is coming. I know he is. As you know, I love the Savior. I have great respect for Jesus Christ. I love him very much. Sage Pup asked me a question, am I sleeping better now that I know T-Man is in? A little bit. A little bit. I just knocked myself off the program. I'm sleeping a little bit better last night. After I got to bed at 3:30 this morning, I didn't fall asleep till 4. Carol was already out. Totally out. Oblivious to my even coming to bed. This morning she asked me when I came to bed. I told her, and she went, "Oh my gosh, why do you do this to yourself?" Because she knows what I do. She knew that I was going to come to bed late, but she didn't realize how late it was. I love my wife. She takes great care of me, guys. Like I told you, she made me a wonderful fish and baked potato dinner last night, which I greatly appreciate. I love her. But folks, pay attention to wives and your loved ones. If you don't have a wife to have you take care of, or she takes care of you, please know this. The Lord loves you. The Lord blesses you. Rob 52 says, it sounds like his wife. Out like a light. That usually happens with Carol. Once her head hits a pillow, she's gone. Totally oblivious, unless one of her kids calls. One of our kids calls, she's awake again. Doesn't want her to, but she's awake. Because she likes talking to her children, as I do. We both love them very much. Guys, I hope you have a good night. Like I said, if there's anything else we can do for you, we will. If we have any more information for you, we will come back on the air and give it to you as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, I wish you the best night. We have good news. We are now in good hands. Yes, the Democrat Communist Party is going to make life rough on President Trump and even the rest of us. But please be safe out there. Please be safe and do know that we love you. We care about you. Hope you have a good night. We'll be back on the air tomorrow night. Same time, same station. Have a good one, guys. I love you very much. I do. You guys got to know I love you so much. It's incredible. Hold on a second. I've got one of our videos here I'm going to show you what we call our outro, which is the final video of the evening. Have a good night, guys. We love you very much. If you want to donate to our program, we very much appreciate it. Very much appreciate it. Don Patoka just put up our PayPal locations. They're also in the bottom part of this program, in the program description. Please go there and help support us. God be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, folks. Be safe.